Hi everyone. So this week we're going to look at phrasal verbs, which are very commonly used by native English speakers. A phrasal verb is one that you create by taking a main verb and then adding to it either a preposition or an adverb in some cases in order to create a new verb that can have quite a different meaning from the original verb and also a meaning that you can't necessarily infer from examining the individual components. So if I take, for example, the verb to bring and I add to it the preposition up, then I create the phrasal verb to bring up, which means to raise. So to bring up your children, we're talking about family this week, to bring up your children means to raise your children, but that's a meaning that you couldn't necessarily guess by looking at the verb bring paired with the preposition up. And so phrasal verbs are a little like the collocations that we looked at last week, are something that needs to be memorized. You should not be tempted to try to create your own phrasal verbs unless it's one that you know is in regular usage. So what I'm going to do is I will post to our Facebook page a list of some of the most commonly used phrasal verbs and give you the opportunity to read through those and hopefully to then use them in your writing assignments and your speaking assignments. One word of caution with phrasal verbs, when you look at splitting a verb, so to bring up, it is possible in some cases to split the two components of a phrasal verb. So as well as saying, to bring up my children, it is possible for me to say, I will bring my children up, in a careful manner or something like that. But not all phrasal verbs can be split in that fashion. And whether you can do so or not actually depends upon whether the sentence that it's being used in is transitive or intransitive. This gets fairly technical and it relies on whether the verb is taking a direct object or not. But rather than get into that level of complexity, what I would suggest is that if you are using phrasal verbs, the safest way for you to use them would be to avoid the temptation to split the verbs so that you don't fall into the trap of making a sentence that actually turns out to be ungrammatical because that particular phrasal verb couldn't be split. Okay, so I'll post a list to the Facebook page, and once you've had the chance to review it, I would welcome any queries that you might like to post. All right, thank you very much.